Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Empowerment with Elizabeth. Today I am here with my sweet new friend Libby. She's going to chat with us about being a state title holder and her prep for Miss America's Teen. So, Libby, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Elizabeth. My name is also Elizabeth, but I go by Libby. My name is Libby Tacey, and I'm currently Miss Michigan's teen. I'm from the small town of Big Rapids, where I go to Big Rapids High School, and I'm currently going into my senior year. I'm also a dancer. I spend a lot of time at the studio, and when I'm not there, I'm advocating for my platform, which is human trafficking awareness and prevention. And I'm just super excited to be here today talking to Elizabeth about everything with being the first month of Miss Michigan's teen and prepping for Miss America.
So, take us back to the beginning with pageants specifically. How did you get involved? Who got you interested? And then how did it get you to where you are now?
So, like I said, I've been dancing forever. And my dance teacher, when I was younger, she was like my second mom. She always was like, "You need to do pageants." She was a former Miss Bay County. She was amazing. And I was like, "Oh, fine, I'll do it." So she finally got me into doing one. And after my first one, I was so scared. I froze on stage during my on stage question. I didn't even know how to walk in my dress. I was tripping. It was just a mess. And I was like, "No, this isn't for me. I can't do it anymore." But she pushed me to keep going. And I'm so glad she did. So that first year, I obviously did not win any local titles, but I went to Miss Michigan and watched, and I was just amazed. And I knew I wanted to be on that stage. So I got right back into it and won my first local title. I've had three local titles since then, and then this year won Miss Michigan's teen. So it's really been a great journey, some ups and downs, but I've learned so much from the failures, even more than the successes.
And you mentioned dance already, and I'm assuming that's your talent. So,
Yeah.
kind of talk to us a little bit more about what dance means to you, and then specifically how you go about selecting a piece for state and then now nationals.
Yeah. Well, dance means everything to me. Dance is like my home away from home, my escape from the world. Like I said, my dance teacher is like my second mom. So I just love dancing. And of course, I knew I needed to do it as my talent. So for the first couple of years, I did the same to contemporary dance about my platform, actually. And then this year for states, I wanted to switch it up. I wanted to do something that was brighter, more cheerful, happier. So I picked one of my favorite songs. It's all coming back to me now by Celine Dion because it is just so powerful, emotional, and I choreographed it myself actually. So that took some time, but I'm really glad I did because I got to have all the elements I wanted in there and convey the message I wanted to, which was a message of strength and perseverance. And for nationals, I'm actually doing the same song, but I'm definitely amping up the routine a bit.
So cool. So cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's just one of the phases of competition, but I'm interested to hear what your favorite phase of competition is, and then a little bit about why that phase is your favorite.
Well, it always used to be talent. Since dance was just so comfortable for me, I didn't even have to get nervous for that phase of competition. But ever since like this year leading up to Miss Michigan's teen, it's kind of became interview. I used to be scared to interview, but now I just realize it really is about having a conversation. It's about telling the judges the things that I want them to know. Like, why wouldn't I want to talk about the great things I have planned for the year and the things I have done? And especially in my state interview this year, I just felt so connected in the judges and so at peace. And I loved interviews so much this year. It really set the tone for the week. So interviews definitely taking the top spot now.
And a big part of your interview is talking about your CSI. So tell us what your CSI is, what you've been doing with it, and what your future plans are for it.
My service initiative is Block the Traffic, Human Trafficking Awareness and Prevention. And I originally picked it, well, I didn't know what to choose at first. And then I was at my local county fair, and all of a sudden, traffickers were being arrested right in front of me.
Wow.
A place where me and my friends were just having fun on the rides, eating elephant ears, all the things. It turned into a crime scene. And so I knew I needed to advocate about this issue that not many people even knew about. So throughout the past years, really at the focus of my platform has been advocating for survivors and educating people about the importance of knowing the risks and how they can protect themselves from human trafficking. Specifically, because so many people don't realize human trafficking comes from a relationship of manipulation,
Mhm.
fraud, coercion. It's not just kidnapping. So, education is the key to safety, and that's why it's really been at the center of my reign as a Michigan's teen so far and will continue to be.
So cool. So cool. And you were only crowned a few weeks ago. So you're probably still kind of like soaking it all in. But I want you to think back to competition week. And I'm interested to hear why you think the judges selected you specifically to represent your state this year.
When I actually had to talk to the judges after the competition up in the judges suite, which is really cool because I was like, tell me everything you thought of me. Like, I need to know. um, yeah, so I got to talk to them. And when I asked them, like, what stood out about me, they really said when they're watching the show, they really just think back to the interviews. And they felt the same connection I did during the interviews, which I love to hear because I felt super connected with them. They were really engaged in what I was saying. They were asking follow-up questions to what I was saying, which is a good sign that they're listening. And so when they told me that they also felt this connection with me, that was like the best thing to hear. And I think that is truly why they picked me. I was someone that they resonated with. Maybe something I said hit them close to home when I was talking about human trafficking. And they saw the plans I had for the year. They saw what I had done to prepare and knew that I was ready to take on the state title and compete at the national level.
And they picked you, and you're here.
Yes, I
You
still
have the
can't believe it,
title.
but
So exciting. So
yeah.
exciting. And now you are a brand ambassador, obviously for your state, but also for the Miss America organization. So tell us what your favorite point of the crown is.
Oh, I love them all, but I would have to say service, just because that's honestly what got me into pageants and why I still do it to this day. I wanted to join pageants because when I found out about human trafficking happening right in our own backyards, I was excited to talk about it and share that story with people and serve my community in a way that was different than anything else. I do a lot of community service events, of course, but I don't see anyone advocating for human trafficking awareness like I have. So I've really been focused on providing that service in our community and across the state, especially by working with my sheriff and now hopefully state law enforcement to make sure everyone knows about the risks of human trafficking, how it's happening right here in our backyards. So at the end of the day, I love all the parts of pageants. I love my sisters, I love the scholarships, but service has always been at the heart of my mission.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Miss America's teen is only like what, a month and a half away.
Yes.
So soon. So I know you're already prepping. Talk to us what you've been focusing on with your prep.
When I actually prepped for Miss Michigan's teen this year, since I knew the turnaround time was so quick, I was prepping like I was going to Miss America's teen. So it's already been an easier transition for me. Starting to do mock interviews, work on like my paperwork was already pretty much set for Miss America's teen. So just starting to do mock interviews, working on walking, just really amping it all up even more for Miss America's teen, and mostly just remaining true to myself has been a big important part of it because I've obviously competed at Miss Michigan's teen many times and I haven't won the title. And the
Mhm.
thing that was also really different this year was that I wasn't just telling the judges what I thought they wanted to hear or what sounded perfect. I was just being myself. And I'm trying to convey that over to Miss America's teen as well because it can be very stressful competing at a high level with so many girls. So I'm just remembering to stay true to myself, say what comes to mind, and especially in the interview room, and do exactly what I did at States because it worked out for me.
I've got a non-pageant question for you. I want to know what your favorite thing about your state is.
Oh, I've got to say the Great Lakes. Michigan has the five Great Lakes, and they are just beautiful. My favorite one to go to is Lake Superior, even though it is freezing. I have so many memories with my dad there when we would go on camping trips, and those are always ones I'll hold close to my heart. And so I just love how you can travel all across the state, and there's always going to be a little lake on the outside that you can go visit.
And our final question, if you could give one piece of advice to a girl competing at your state competition next year, what would it be?
I would tell her, don't get discouraged because that's something that I needed to hear. I know we all have our points when either it's prepping or at a pageant that we get discouraged, whether it's we don't win or we don't feel confident about what we did. It can be hard to keep going. So I would just tell her to keep going because I am so glad I did. I would tell her my personal story about how, like I said, I was on stage at my first pageant, didn't even know what I was doing. And now I'm the state title holder. So it's really important to keep going, keep pushing, because if you're passionate about it, you can do it. And I believe in you.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Livy, for coming on and chatting with us about you and your
Thank
title
you.
and all the awesome things that you're doing. And just know that we'll be rooting you on at Miss America's team.
Thank you so much for having me. This is a great experience.
You are so welcome. And I will see the rest of you guys on our next episode. Bye, y'all.